I saw you saw my unexpected talk with Elon.
Yeah, wait, are you like an employee at Twitter?
No, I was an employee at Twitch for about 5 years and then I quit and now I run a startup.
Wait, what were you doing on Twitch that I'm still banned?
Yeah, I am one of many who was very frustrated by that. Probably the only one on the safety team.
Wait, hold on.
Hello.
Hey, welcome to my space.
Hey, George.
Hey.
You should send out that diagram you made of the Twitter software architecture.
All right, I'll post
Yeah,
it.
it's epic.
You know, the worst thing is I don't even think that's the problem.
Okay.
Like, the diagram itself is fine, and that diagram is easy for 20 people to keep in their heads. I think the problem is when you have thousands of engineers, you're going to get millions of lines of code.
Yeah. Is there like 20? Is there like 20 million lines of Scala or something like that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like that's a lot.
I've looked into the number of lines of just some of the microservices, and it's unbelievable.
Yes.
It just, again, I have no programming background at all. I don't, and I'm truly just going completely out of my ass. I'm gonna be honest with you, 95% of my programming knowledge comes from the Programmer Humor subreddit, okay? That's where like 95% of it comes from, okay? This just, it sounds like middle management to me, where you've got a guy and he comes in and he's like, I think we need to look at improving, we need to streamline some of our microservices. And it's like, what's wrong with them? Well, I heard there's like 15,000 lines of code for them. It's like, okay, which ones do you want to get rid of? Like, what does that mean? Say something.
Okay, I found some stuff where people would just copy and paste code, and it looks like it was largely copy and pasted just so somebody could have committed a lot of lines.
Yeah.
Really? Is that, it's just somebody's like, look at how big my commit is as I just copy paste. Seriously? Is that really what's happening?
And like, yeah.
Oh shit, Tag is in chat. Tag, what's up? I'll pull you on after if you want, okay? I'll pull you on. Yeah, I'll pull you on after.
If that's what the company's incentive structures are, you're going to end up with this. And I think a lot of people say that you need this complexity at scale, but it has nothing at all to do with scale.
No, it doesn't have anything. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Like, there's two types of scale. There's horizontal scale and vertical scale. Horizontal scale should require nothing. Vertical scale, sure, if you have like edges in a graph, it's going to be a bit to maintain. But yeah, if you don't have that, it has nothing to do with the complexity. The complexity is just a function of the number of engineers in your organization.
Yeah, I mean, I always like to say like, 1 point for every line of code and 2 points for every line you delete. That should be the incentive structure.
Wait. Can we start?
Dude, I don't know. I don't. Like, does a line of code count? Like, if I put. I don't know. Never mind. I don't know. I truly don't know. Maybe that is how you should pay people. It's like per line of code contributed. Like, you need to like obfuscate with like the most ridiculously complex whatever dumb shit you could do. Like, it just sounds so stupid, right? That's the issue. But I don't know. I don't know. Just saying. I don't know, right? Like, am I getting paid like per curly brace here, or like?
Start doing that at Twitter. A lot of people are writing 100%. A lot of lines of code.
It should be like, 2 points for like deleting a line, 1 point for adding a line.
I was sitting there this morning. One of the things that was so demoralizing was I was sitting there this morning reading git log and watching all the new lines go into the code base, and I'm like, literally nothing I do here can do anything.
What does that even mean? Can you imagine this is the guy overlooking your code that like you do your project and you push to whatever branch you're working on, and then some guy emails you and is like, so I've noticed that you just submitted 47 lines of code. Did you really need that many? Couldn't you have done it in 30? Like, what do we even this sounds like a parody. This sounds like some not The Office. Yeah, The Office. I was gonna say Office Space. It sounds like The Office. It's like Michael Scott.
Okay. I mean, yeah. There is signal. There is some signal, but the signal to noise ratio is not great yet. It will be, but it's not great yet.
I worry about the lines going to the code base for view counts also.
That should be easy. That's the weird thing. Honestly, it's like that microservices sketch. Have you seen that? Which is a super funny.
Oh yeah, the YouTube video.
Extremely accurate.
Yeah.
It's like where the guy's trying to add birthday to the profile, and it's like it's going to take like a year, and it's 8,000 microservices.
You gotta go to Bingo. Bingo knows his name. Hit up Galactica. You know, Galactus. Oh yeah.
Galactus, exactly. And then there's ISO timestamp. Oh man, that didn't come through. Okay, we're screwed.
This isn't even where the crazy that feature in particular, the complexity of it has to do with its higher QPS than anything else at Twitter. So you have way more.
Oh my god. I was trying to think, if I was a musician, what could somebody say to like trigger me like this? I want to see if somebody's connected to my brain with me saying that. Who is Elon Musk? Does anybody know? Does anybody know what just popped in my brain? One person. No one's gonna get it. I don't know, it might be more, I don't think it's an obscure movie at all. Oh, NNN, my brother.
It seemed a touch, too many notes. There are just as many notes, Majesty, as are required, neither more
This is like a one-to-one analogy. There are too many lines of code.
nor less. I think I'm right in saying that, aren't I, Core Composer? Yes. And there are simply too many notes, that's all. Just cut a few and it'll be perfect. Which view did you have in mind, Majesty?
And then Elon shuts down the call. Who is this asshole? I'm sorry, but this is exactly what it sounds like to me. Holy shit.
Impressions, way more views than you do likes. And
Yeah,
if you want to, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, look, the thing is, the view count is already views are already being counted. They're just batched. And
Yes.
so if you do a batched write, you can do a batched read. It should be like roughly equivalent. It's provided you don't care about it in real time. It's like in real time, I think doesn't matter for view count. And for the larger audience out there, we're just literally trying to show people how many times a tweet was viewed, because that's really going to make Twitter pop a lot more than just looking at the number of likes, because people are reluctant to do public likes or replies. And you'll often see if people look at their own view count, that the number of tweet views can sometimes be 100 times more than the number of likes. It's just there's so many people that use Twitter in read-only mode, because there needs to be like some sort of setting here where you can say, okay, I like something, but I don't want Earth to know that I like that thing. Or frankly, if let's say there was an earthquake. In fact, there was an earthquake today, but nobody likes an earthquake. It's noteworthy, and that should just be an indicator of interest where you can say, this is noteworthy. I don't heart an earthquake, but like right now, you have a choice of either hearting an earthquake or nothing. So
Do we really?
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm good. Okay, so this is.
Dude, this is just like your manager comes to you like, we need more features. Okay, what do you want, boss? Okay, firstly, we need verification to be open for everybody. And also, that's going to be a disaster. So we also need to reinvent verification. So after we open the first verification, open for $8 a month, we also need to have a second verification to replace the first verification. Okay, stage 2. I want something that's like a like, but not a like. Okay, so maybe like a saw or like approve of. So like, give me like a secondary like. Even the current iteration of Twitter, and I'm not even like a big design guy, the view thing looks like ass. I don't know why the f they stuck this here. I don't like it. Do we need this? Does it matter? Like, I feel like you could already figure out between like we already had ratioing. You could already tell between like comment responses and between comment responses and likes and shit. You could already tell like how popular a tweet was or wasn't. I don't know.
we can go off into product and say what product should be view counts. I shouldn't have even brought that up as whether it's a good feature or a bad feature or a hard feature. My point is, it is so impossible to move.
Views are good. The only reason why I don't like the views things is because I don't know what views mean, I guess. That's my issue with that's my issues with the views button. So like, for instance, if somebody's like liking something, I know that somebody's engaged. If somebody's commenting something, I know somebody's engaged with something. But I don't know if a view is like, let's say somebody's got their phone up and they just like scroll through like 100 tweets. Am I getting a view on that? Does that count as an impression? Or if somebody clicks like a tweet thread and the whole thing pops up, does that count as an impression? Or if it's like, I just have no idea. Or like right here, like even for this particular thing, even what I just looked at. So like when I load this page, did everything just get one view? Like every loaded tweet on this page? Or is it only when I scroll down far enough? Or do I have to hover over it? Or do I need to click on it to engage with it? Or, like, I have no idea like where these come from. That's like the annoying thing for me, I guess. That's why I don't like the feature. That's why I prefer like more solid metrics of engagement. But
Crypto King. And for my calculation,
wrong one. Okay, sorry, back to this.
In this code base because it was built by so many engineers. And I think this is true at every single FANG company. And I think the way that you beat them is you figure out how to have, how about this? The same serialization and deserialization that is so expensive for all the microservices is also true for people. The cost to deserialize and like the cost to just get somebody onboarded and brought up is so high, and then what they end up doing is bad, that like, yeah, like this is where all this overhead comes from, in both writing the features and in executing the code. Again, I think they're the same thing. I think the company's code base and the company itself are inextricably linked.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this is generally true that you can see the flaws in a product, that like whatever the flaws are in a company's organizational structure manifest themselves in the product, whether that's a physical product or as a software. And so Twitter was incredibly siloed. So then you had incredibly siloed software development, where communication didn't make sense. Yeah.
Who raised their hand? Yeah, no, absolutely true.
But hey, at least Spaces is working.
Yeah. Theo.
I think another thing too for Elon answering these questions, like I think part of being a leader, I talk about this a lot, that like part of being an effective leader is learning how to delegate. If somebody wanted to come on and they wanted to ask me questions about like, oh, like, can you explain like how your site works? Like my response would be, yeah, of course I can. Let me go ahead and grab Cake to do it. Or let me grab Jada or somebody. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to tell you like how our APIs work or how like the chat services work, or like, cause I'm not going to be able to explain it to you. I wouldn't even try. I know that's outside of my wheelhouse.
Do you have any perspective on this? What should Twitter do?
I think that there's a lot of conflation here of like number of engineers, number of features, and amount of time, where like for a company to iterate on its product and change and add things like Spaces, there has to be a lot of exploration, and those teams will often build their own things in order to not get stuck by a lot of the mud that we're describing here. And I'm sure that a lot of the stuff building the WebRTC and the connection infrastructure for Spaces is relatively separate from the rest of the core Twitter code base. But now we have more things in the mental model to deal with, and that's how we end up with that crazy diagram with all of the parts. There's some level of consistency in the core Twitter features now that I could see viability in rewriting that set with a small core team. But in order to keep exploring in lots of different directions at once, there is some amount of additional headcount necessary. I totally agree that like trimming as much as was done makes a ton of sense, but there is some amount of growth necessary to explore more as your company grows and as your product set or features grow.
This guy sounds like he knows what he's talking
Much
about.
harder to build if you don't know exactly what it is you're building. But what you want to do is you want to make the velocity of features as high as possible.
Yes. I mean, I think, frankly, if you want to have a really high velocity of features, I think
Oh, this is Tag. Oh, shit. Oh, I just dick rode you so hard. Sorry. Sorry. My bad. Jesus.
Do a total rewrite of the whole thing.
I'm assuming when you say velocity of features, are you referring to like how long does it take to implement something from like idea and wireframe to like deliverable feature that you can at least look in a testing environment? Is that like the velocity of the features? Like what is like the time to implement an idea, or at least to like have it in testing? Is that what that means? So I'm guessing like more code base, longer time, slower velocity, more bullshit work you have to do. Definition to deliver. Yeah. Okay.
One feature. Seriously, a total rewrite. That's your prediction for velocity.
Yeah.
Well, when you say a total rewrite, do you mean starting with the skeleton, or a bunch of engineers sit down with a whiteboard and say, "What is Twitter"? Revolution or reform?
I just mean like literally like there's like you could either try to amend the crazy stack that exists, or rewrite it.
But when you say crazy stack, what do you mean? Like break it down.
Have you seen George's like diagram?
No. I mean like, what do you mean by crazy? No. Seriously, crazy stack. Come on, buddy. Come on.
Who are you?
What do you mean? Who am I? I don't know. You gave me the mic. I got no.
I didn't give you
the mic. Whoa! I'm doing the mic, and let's keep it civil in my space.
I mean, yeah.
Like what? No, man. You're in charge of the servers and the programming, whatever. Like what is the stack?
Elon,
keep
things
come on,
technical
man.
in my space, please.
Take me from top to bottom. What does the stack look like right now? What's so crazy about it? What's so abnormal about this stack versus every other large-scale system on the planet, buddy? Come on, give it to me.
All right. So first off,
amazing. Wow, you're a jackass.
Okay. All
right, no. I got no credibility here, buddy. I got no idea.
First off, let's keep my space civil.
Here, like
we removed him from speakers.
Good.
Elon,
what a moron.
Can I go into it?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the biggest problems is that you can't run Twitter locally. So when I was at Facebook, you could run all of Facebook on a laptop. There is no way to run Twitter outside of a very bespoke configuration in a data center, and it makes it nearly impossible to build anything new on it.
Yeah. I mean, there's 20 million lines of Scala. Like, think about that. That's insane. The thing that have you?
So the other guy talking, that sounded like he knew something, right? So I imagine, and again, I'm not a programmer, I don't know, but I imagine, I guess for a lot of larger like things, there's probably like scaled down versions where you can run something locally so that if you want to build new products or features, it's easy to have a local copy of something, you like emulate services, you program and you design something and you can see how it works. And not being able to do that with Twitter might inhibit like new feature discovery or whatever, right? Or creation. That sounds like that's a decent answer. I can understand that. Okay, cool, yeah, that makes sense. And then Elon immediately was like, yeah, 15,000 Antonin Scalia code lines, not good, And it's like, okay.
Did you post that diagram?
No.
Okay.
I didn't post the diagram, but
the meme.
The joke of the diagram isn't that there's that many pieces. It's that when people think of a microservice, they think of 200 lines of code, not 200,000.
Yes.
And it's 200,000 for most of them.
It should be trivial to do something like add view count. It should be like literally another sort of line in a database.
So
that whether or not something is trivial to add, like all comes down to like the implementation of everything you've done. Sometimes adding a new thing, depending on like how your project is built out, can be incredibly easy. Other times it could like actually require an entire fucking rewrite, depending on like how things are done. I don't know. I'm being like really nitpicky. I don't like Elon, man, and everything he says just sounds so fucking stupid.
It should be trivial, but
that's also like a middle manager thing. You've got like some like very old like archaic fucking database or some shit, and he comes in and he's like, hey, I want to be able to add like profile pictures, like Facebook can do that. Like, can you just like add a line of code so that we can have like pictures in the database? And you have like no storage, you've got like no way to, and you're like, this is really complicated. He's like, no, it's really easy. Like just add like a box. Right? My friend does HTML. Just like add a box and then make it so everybody can put a profile picture there. And it's like, that request is way more complicated than you think it does, right? Or than you think it is.
It's not trivial. because of the insane complexity of the Twitter software stack.
I disagree about view count. I think view count is actually inherently a hard feature. But for example,
Oh, so yeah, so even the guy. Wait, is that the tag guy talking? I don't want to dig right you piece of shit if you're coming on.
right now there's a service.
Or is that Jason? I don't know if that's a different guy.
That runs a model, and there's a service that calls that. Like there's a RPC to run a model, basically.
No, that's
at
George.
Comma, it's one line if you want to put the model inside the
I see.
process. At Twitter, it's 2 weeks of the best.
Okay. All right. Do you want to message me or add me on Discord? I don't know what you want to add. Tag does not have perms to get on the call. No, he just has to add me on Discord. I can hop in a random Vox channel in your server. Okay. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, I'm not gonna be able to fucking join any channel still, huh? Because my shit is fucked. Based. Wait, join general lobby and I'll just DM you. Because I think I can do private calls for some reason. Were you just memeing before when you said you liked the changes to verification on Twitter? Oh no, my shit is working. No, it sounded like their original plan for verification. What I thought I heard initially sounded like a good idea. It sounded like they were gonna keep the original verification process in place, but they were gonna open it up to people to pay to get access to the verification process. Not just like, you spend like $8 and you're automatically verified. That sounds fucking stupid, right? I feel like I heard him say initially that was what the plan was, and then it just became like, oh, $8 for a check mark. What are you guys doing in here? What the f?
We're hanging out.
We were hanging out.
Why are you hanging out in Destiny's room? This is my room.
Yeah, we were gonna also help you out with your little discussion.
Oh,
Yeah,
who are you?
To George.
Oh, it's
Giving me a physical
It's,
hug, bro.
that's Facebook guy.
Yeah, no, I know who it is. I just checked. Well, but I don't know you as I'm gay / gay. Are you making fun of pronouns with that?
He's gay.
Yeah,
Is that your pronouns, gay? When you say he's gay, don't you mean gay's gay?
yeah.
Yeah, misgendering him.
Listen, I have like multiple shields already. You can't make fun of me.
Well, cool. Hold on, I'm waiting for that guy to join general lobby, if he can figure out how to do it.
George Otts?
No, the tech guy who was in this call apparently is also in my chat.
Theo?
Is he Theo?
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
Theo.
He's T3 is what he said, I think.
Oh, that's a different guy.
Ooh. Is that actually Theo? I can't tell. Let's track it then.
He said, I'm in waiting room.
P1 waiting room, yeah.
Oh, wait, is it Theo?
Yeah, it's Theo.
Theo.
Are you sure that's him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the guy in chat? Oh,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Oh. Hi, what's up?
Yo. Yep, that's me. Theo T3.gg. I suck at branding.
Cool. Well, what's up? How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. Happy holidays.
Dude,
Good
happy
life.
holidays, man.
Yeah, so I saw you saw my unexpected talk with Elon.
The way that a lot of platforms do ad sales and a lot of like purchasers expect ads isn't necessarily I'm going to give you these ads and I trust you to serve them to the right people. It's usually almost the opposite, where it's I want to target this group of people in this region who went to a Jiffy Lube in the last 72 days. That level of micro targeting is something a lot of ad buyers now expect, and like it's a huge part of how CPMs can get so high on platforms like YouTube. But
Listen,
sometimes these advertisers will serve entirely different versions of the same ad to
Listen,
different
can you turn this guy
demographics.
off, please? He's just talking nonsense. Thanks. I've actually talked to the advertisers. If Twitter.
I know you can do those types of ad buys with AdSense, and I know you can do those types of ad buys with Facebook, those specifically. It wouldn't surprise me if that was also available for other large-scale social media platforms.
Features as high as possible.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think, frankly, if you want to have a really
That guy that got kicked watches your content? Wait, really? Yeah, wait, are you like an employee at Twitter?
No, I was an employee at Twitch for about 5 years and then I quit. Now I run a startup.
Wait, what were you doing on Twitch that I'm still fucking banned?
Yeah, I am one of many who was very frustrated by that. Probably the only one on the safety team.
Wait, hold on. When did you stop working for Twitch?
2017. I stopped in 2020.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Wait, 2021.
No, that's what I asked. When did you stop working for Twitch?
2020, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wait, were you part of Trust and Safety?
Yeah, it was Trust and Safety. I don't know if I said 2020. 2021, at the beginning of last year, I left finally. I was in Creator when I did that. As many Twitch employees, was reorged like 7 times and also hopped teams a lot. So I started on Creative. I wrote the video in for Bob Ross Marathon, like the Power Rangers, Mr. Rogers, all that stuff. Hopped over to VOD. It was a nightmare. Hopped over to Safety. Built a lot of the internal video and internal stuff there. Then I built ModView. Really proud of that still. Got bored. Went over to Creator. Tried fixing the dashboard in Studio, got really frustrated with those teams and gave up. And here I am.
Do you know, is his name, does it start with an R, the head of the guy? Do you know what I'm talking about for Trust and Safety?
Oh, yeah. If it is who I think it is, yeah, he's a good friend.
Yeah, he seemed like a cool guy. I had lunch with him and a few times, but he couldn't save me, so I don't like him anymore.
You weren't savable. I am sorry.
It's all good. Don't worry. One day, when Twitch is crumbling, they'll come crawling back to me, okay?
Yeah. I've been, like, I could go on a whole rant about what's happened to, like, the politics scene on Twitch, but your presence is missed.
Yeah, don't worry. Oh, God, Melina told me a fucking horror story about, she went to like they invited a bunch of creators to like, how can we improve IRL content on Twitch, to like a summit thing or whatever at TwitchCon, and it was like her. Oh, did you hear about this?
There was a few things like this. I haven't heard in detail this one.
Oh yeah, it was her and like a few other people. I think maybe STPH, maybe Jake and Bake, and then it was like this like legion of like fucking like politics streamers, like Denims and stuff like that. And apparently they spent the whole time talking about like politics streams. And Melina was like, it's so awkward being here, like with you being banned, and then they're not talking about any IRL content except for like this stuff, like this politics shit. And it was like the cringiest. But I wasn't there to see it, so I'm just going by her reporting. But I thought that was funny. Yeah.
That's hilarious. There's a bunch of those like awkward partner rooms. I had a fun one where like I had access to a lot of staff stuff because I'm also a streamer and a partner on Twitch. So I got into some of the like partners networking with like the higher up Twitch staff stuff. And since there's been so much churn over the last year or 2 years, almost nobody recognized me. So I was able to go in like an unfamiliar face and just like figure out what the hell's going on. And I have never been more bearish on Twitch. It's a total shit show. I'm upset. I had a conversation with Emmett not too long ago, like 4 or so months ago, and he started swinging me the other way, but it's just like all of his hires have been bad. All of the decisions have been worse. They've treated me in particular like absolute shit. I'm so done with Twitch.
Has he, well, you're literally done. You don't work there anymore, right?
Yeah, I still stream on Twitch, but
yeah. Are you, wait, is Emmett still CEO?
Yes,
oh,
somehow.
Okay. Justin's not there anymore, right?
Justin hasn't been there since like 2015 or so. Not even, like he wasn't really even there for the Twitch transition.
Gotcha, okay.
And he wasn't CEO before then either. Michael Seibel was.
Okay, anyway, what's up?
Not much. I wanted to try my best to steelman a little bit of Elon and George's take here because I think there can be an argument made for a rewrite, but I don't think either of them made it.
Yeah, I want to be ultra clear here, okay? I'm not arguing that Twitter's code base is like neat and tidy, well maintained, and has like, you know,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's not my argument.
I think that your point's been
my point is just that anytime Elon talks, he comes off to me like Trump, where he just doesn't know what he's talking about. He always gives me that feeling. And I said this even before Twitter, because people are going to accuse me of being politically biased. I always said before that he has this uncanny ability to go on stage and start talking about things. And it like I listened to him do speeches on, it was even, I think it was like AI or something. And it just like some of the things he was saying, like this guy doesn't, he sounds like he's good at kind of like, I don't want to say being a con man, but like he'll talk about shit, but he doesn't really know what he's talking about. It's like a lot of buzzwords and shit. But yeah, that's the irritating thing when I hear him talking. It could be the case like Twitter's code base is a mess and it needs to rewrite and all that shit. He just sucked ass at like talking about that at all. Yeah,
I don't know the current state of Twitter's code base. I've heard mixed things, mostly good-ish. But I'm thinking much more like as a CEO and like on the like the higher level, since I've been on both sides of like running a business and also running a code base.
Sure.
Why it would make sense to do something that even many of the engineers might not agree with here. There's like in any code base that's that old, like 15-ish years for many parts, like
Jesus,
it's just that's a lot of baggage to move with. There's a general theory, I forgot the guy who came up with this, but it's like just broken my brain since I heard it. It's every 3 years any given piece of software gets 3 times easier to write.
Okay.
And when you have code that's been around for 15 years, a lot of it is written in a way that's exponentially more complex than it has to be now.
Sure. And these are like, I hear horror stories of like, there's like one guy in the office that can like maintain like some particular thing, and if like a guy leaves, you're like shit like that. I don't know how true that is for like modern software development, but yeah.
I think the bigger problem when you're in a product org is when changes need to be made, who knows the thing well enough to make those changes reliably, and how many things have to be changed in order to make that product real.
Yeah, that was the thing that I was... Oh, go ahead.
As I say, Twitter's an interesting spot because they're not profitable, and they're in a really rough spot, especially since Elon doesn't know how ads work. So I think that like they should be focused on adding things and finding opportunities to make more money. And in the pursuit of that, like if they sit down, write out look at the numbers, look at the path to profit, look at how much money they're making, look at their burn, look at their runway. Realistically speaking, what's the most likely to make them profitable the soonest? And if they're not sure about that thing, and a rewrite would theoretically let them do 3 things instead of 1 slightly faster, just like plot all these paths, which gets you money fastest.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. Like if there were features that I could like, if I could rewrite a huge chunk of my website in order to like in the future support like 2 chat rooms, or if I could like rewrite a small part that allows me to support like tier 6, 7, and 8 subs, I'd probably opt for the smaller part quicker because there's a quicker path to monetization there, and then we work on the other stuff later, especially if I was like bleeding cash or something and I needed some, right?
Exactly. And this is why the view count thing is the stupidest fucking circle around like bullshit. Why did they put any time into that? Like they're burning money and they're like rebuilding half their infra so they can put an arbitrary number so Elon feels better when he goes to bed at night. Like that's all view count is. It's like an ego stroke because he was jealous when he looked at other platforms and how well things are doing on those. He just wanted a number to point at so he could feel better.
This is spiteful, so I'm trying not to buy into this, but I saw a really funny tweet. I don't know how true this is, but it's the idea that basically like every new feature from Twitter is coming from some like ass pain that like Elon had in the past. So like I saw somebody link something where it was like when Apple was shitting on him, it was like the next day he was like, we're going to remove like the, written on iPhone shit, like stuff like that, basically, that a lot of the features are being added or removed based on stuff that's like personally frustrating him. If that's true, that's pretty funny, but yeah.
Almost certainly to an extent. I like the way that they've changed safety stuff in particular around like parody accounts and shit's clearly a direct response to him being bullied and feeling insecure.
Sure.
I
would say that rewrites, probably in the way that Elon means it, probably not a good idea. Facebook actually rewrote their entire website semi-recently. And when I say rewrite,
I had a great chat with the guy who did that like 2 weeks ago at a React event in the city that I was speaking at.
Yeah, so when I say that doesn't mean literally like start from scratch.
Yeah.
That is hoist the old website on stilts and then start removing the stilts and replacing them with, better things over time. Because it never makes sense to actually rewrite everything from scratch. There's a lot of built-up knowledge and history, and there's reasons why things are written a certain way. It's a huge endeavor to just rewrite things and then hope that you get things correct, and then also hope that you don't have to like rebuild a bunch of crap that used to be there.
Generally agree. Facebook in particular is a weird case because they did actually fully rewrite the like user interface front end. Like the whole front end from the ground up was rewritten from scratch, and you had the old site or the new site, and everything in it was the new site.
No, that's not true.
Ooh. Damn.
It was. They like blew out the entire HTML like crazy.
You can still go to screens on Facebook.com and it'll render in a very weird way. It's because it's using the old stack.
Yeah, it's literally iframing in an old web page. That's not like the website was rewritten. I guess I agree in the sense that there are still pieces that they didn't rewrite, but it's like as far as I as an engineer would ever be concerned, that was a full-on rewrite. Like the top of the site, like the entry point and everything that happens from there is fundamentally different. Way down, like the analogy you gave of like stripping it down to the stilts and then building on top separately. It's the opposite of that. It's literally sledgehammering it, realizing the 4 of those stilts need to be around, and then putting those back in on top after.
Well, and I think actually, to chime in here, what you guys are talking about right now, I mean, like, kind of even showcases of like, what does a rewrite even mean? Like, does a rewrite mean we're literally like opening up Notepad and starting from fucking ground zero on every single thing? Or like, are you just redesigning like parts of the front end or what? Like, it's probably like what a rewrite even means is like up for debate, I imagine, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. What I'm saying is, like, as an engineer, when I hear something along the lines of like stripping it down and then building something else on top, I'm not expecting a fundamental different, like a different code base runs the website of facebook.com right now. Like, when you go to facebook.com, the code base that starts that process and loads that page and generates the HTML you see is a different code base than the one from 3 years ago. Like, from the ground up rewrite, they have other parts they didn't port over, so they link you back to those ones. But to me, that's about as far as rewrite could go in a big business.
I would probably estimate that maybe 30% is new. It feels like a rewrite because a lot of things on the front end changed. However, a lot of the back end systems did not change.
Well, he was saying it was a total front end rewrite, right?
Well, if we're talking about a rewrite in terms of Elon's rewrite, it wasn't at all. I don't know what type of...
His would probably just be back end. I don't think he cares about the state of the front end by the sounds of the convo that we had.
Maybe, I don't know. It sounds like he was very complaining about all the UI in the mobile app and stuff. But anyway,
want to go back in a bit
right
on
way to approach this, right, is never to just throw out everything and then like assume amnesia and then write stuff from scratch. It'll never work. And the point earlier about like, oh, you'll always have some guy that just has esoteric knowledge, and if you lose them, then you're just fucked. That's just a common fact, and it's just a fact. It's always going to happen, whether you rewrite or not.
Well, but there's probably going to be a big difference between, like, I imagine, like, there's some, you know, like, piece of code that some guy had written and like he's like the most familiar with it, versus there's something written in some language that's like super deprecated or nobody even uses it anymore, and there's some guy that's like 57 years old and he's the only one that can write. I imagine there's a difference between those two things, no?
Not really. I wouldn't.
You really don't think so? They're like, well, fuck, you guys are, never mind, you more than I have.
Once you get to a certain point, like, programming languages are very much the same. Like, it's not very hard for me to go read a program in a completely different language I don't know. Generally speaking, they flow in very similar ways. So, like, the logic behind it is the thing that's actually, like, where you need the knowledge about. And you're just going to be writing new logic, and then you're going to hope that you document it correctly, which you're never going to do.
I think the bigger problem's like a step higher. It's not like the actual lines of code. And I feel like so much of the conversation became about the lines of code that was incredibly frustrating to me. It's thinking about the relationship between services, like the dimensions of the systems you're building. Code is one dimension, and it's the most boring one. There is like, where are these systems deployed? Where do they get data from? How do they communicate? What happens when one goes down? How do you distribute across the world? How do you replicate the data? Like, these questions are not many lines of code, but end up being the place where so much of the complexity lives. And if you can take advantage of modern practice and systems, things like serverless architecture, and just trim massive chunks, like whole dimensions off of your infra and off of the complexity you're dealing with, you're able to move faster. And if you're not sure if your business can be profitable or not, and it takes you 2 years to try a different model out, or you could spend half a year to get to a place where you can try different things every 3 months, you should probably do that. But it depends a lot about where you are and being realistic on what gets you to where you want to be.
Wow.
You know, maybe you wouldn't have such a knowledge gap if you didn't fire most of the people.
Did he fire a lot of people that were developers? I don't even know how many of, like, who got.
Yeah.
I will say that I knew a lot of engineers at Twitter, and I have not personally noticed a correlation between the ones who stayed and left and the ones who were and weren't like high quality. Like, I know some very good engineers who left and some very good engineers who stayed, and some lackluster ones who left and stayed as well. I do personally know a handful of super talented engineers who chose to stay at Twitter, though. So for what it's worth, there are people there who know what they were doing and can like describe these things well. And I know a lot of them have had like surprisingly okay conversations with Elon, but he seems to have picked up a bunch of buzzwords and then just spouts them.
Based.
Yeah. I would love to try and like analyze how Elon got here, because like his the way his product brain works, I think explains a lot of his like behavior here. I think that going into cars as a new player was a move that hadn't been seen like really ever before.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people at every step were saying, you can't just show up here and do that. You don't know how the fuck a car works. You're here from PayPal. Like, come on, dude. And somehow he did. I can't personally say how viable people's critiques were and how well he worked to get there, but he did manage to do it. And as you even said before, there's a problem a lot of people have where when they do something hard and get really good at it, they assume that they're good at everything nearby it and eventually assume they're very good at everything beyond it. If you do something that's hard, like the tech at PayPal, and have a huge like success story from that, and then you do something crazier like cars and you succeed with that, and then you do something crazier like space and you succeed at that point you're just going to assume you can't fucking fail.
Yeah.
And also there are certain patterns in the things he has done which were, if you put too much effort into being the best, that will make you successful here. That's not the case in the market he's in right now. Ads is a fundamentally different market from space and from Tesla and from PayPal, because all of them were trying to sell the best thing and could mark up at whatever the fuck they wanted because they won. They're the top. And once you're at the top, you can charge whatever and do whatever. Ads is a margins game, and he doesn't know how to play margins games, and he just doesn't seem to understand how non-quality, like product that isn't sold at the highest possible price as a majority works. Like he's just out of his element and cannot transition, and like his ad stance really showed this.
Yeah. I remember that statement. He wanted to get like 50% of the revenue coming in through subscription. It seemed like a wild, like, ask. Like to, I don't know how many years it would take to hit that well, unless you drop all of your advertising revenue. I guess you could do it very quickly.
Yeah, it's like there's two ways to get 50% ad or 50% like support rev, and he's definitely doing that one.
He's going in one of the directions.
Yeah. We did actually talk a bit about video ad stuff in the space, and he seemed to kind of get that. It was funny because he went from saying I know nothing about ads to fully agreeing with me and just parroting my points like halfway through the space.
What do you you said you work for a startup now. What is your what
Yep.
do you like say the industry or?
Yeah, so I did stay in the industry. We're also exploring DevTool stuff now, but I started ping.gg, TLDR. We built Zoom for streamers. Goal is to make it so we can have like alls like this as simple as possible. Bring a guest into your show with high quality video. We're used by people like Majority Report, Linus Tech Tips, VShojo, Elgato, Microsoft, Xbox, just to do high quality guest live shows.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Supreme's in chat. Yeah, we met at TwitchCon. I hung out with a bunch of like that crew, the OG Politics guys.
Oh, and you didn't hang out with me.
Yeah,
the OG
you were,
Politics guy. Thanks.
Yeah, I was networking the whole time, and you weren't inside the venue, if I recall.
No, but I was right outside, screaming at people to come and hang out with me. So, thank you.
Yeah, that's fair. Probably should have come out. My bad on that. Yeah, I am generally bearish on the creator space at this point. Yeah, it's just a shit show. Like, this is a terrible place to come to make money.
The creator space?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, like the sponsor side of things, absolutely. Like, there's insane money there, but when it comes to like building things for creators, like I couldn't see a new Elgato.
You mean from
right
your
now.
perspective as a person?
Yes,
Oh.
as a CEO, yes. I'm also, I mean, I make more money as a YouTuber by like 4x than we're making at our business right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Figuring out like a product to offer is just so hard when so many other things are like so integrated. Like you talked about like that Zoom thing, and my first, like my go-to thought personally is like, why would I ever use it over Discord when I'm already using Discord, you know?
Because browser sources, we let you do high quality like individual layers. So if you're doing like a fancy podcast where you know the 4 people, you're going to go live at a specific time, you need these 3 people all at 1080p, we're the best way to do that. But for your type of drop-in stuff, we can't compete with Discord. That's why I'm calling on Discord now. We use Discord for all our internal calls, and this is why we're exploring other things. Did get into Y Combinator somehow though. That was fun.
Nice. Well, wait, is there anything else you want to talk about or anything? I'm getting tired, so.
Nah, that was the big thing. If you ever want someone to come shitpost about the like developers cost and like the business side of development, I think I can counter some of Dan's takes decently well.
Ooh, we're always up for shitting on Dan, so absolutely.
Yeah, I'll be around for that. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Well,
Happy holidays.
yeah, have
Peace.
fun. Peace out.